The quantum drag aboard the RSS Curiosity wasn't supposed to work. According to every advanced civilization in the Galactic Confederation, the human-designed engine violated at least 3 fundamental laws of physics. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, watching the impossible swirls of quantum foam dance around her ship as it pushed through what the Confederation had deemed an impenetrable barrier of spacetime. "Status report," she called out, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. This test flight would either revolutionize space travel or prove the aliens right about humanity's primitive understanding of physics. "All systems nominal, Dr." Lieutenant James Rodriguez responded from his station. "Quantum field stability at 98%. We're actually performing better than the simulations predicted." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The Confederation's representatives had been polite, but condescending, when they'd reviewed humanity's quantum drag designs 6 months ago. Their chief scientist, a crystalline being named Voisin, had spent 3 hours explaining why the human approach to quantum mechanics was charmingly naive. A sudden surge of energy rippled through the ship. Warning lights flashed across every console, but not for system failures. Something was out there. "Multiple anomalies detected," Rodriguez called out. "Mass signatures unlike anything in our database. They're moving toward us." Through the quantum foam emerged 3 vessels of impossible geometry, their hulls seeming to fold through dimensions that shouldn't exist. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. These weren't Confederation ships. They were something else entirely. "We're receiving a transmission," Communications Officer Maya Patil announced. "It's using quantum entanglement principles we theorized but could never achieve." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a being that defied human comprehension. It appeared to shift between states of matter, its form suggesting both ancient wisdom and technological advancement far beyond even the Confederation's level. "Children of Earth," the being's thoughts materialized directly in their minds. "You have done what was thought impossible. You have broken through." Sarah stepped forward. "I am Dr. Sarah Chen of the research ship Curiosity. We're conducting tests of our quantum drive technology." "Yes." The being's amusement rippled through their consciousness. "Your impossible drive. The one that ignores the established laws of quantum mechanics in favor of what your scientists called elegant shortcuts. We have been watching your species with great interest." The crew exchanged glances. They'd been watched. Sarah's scientific curiosity overcame her initial shock. "Who are you?" "We are the precursors, those who came before the Confederation. We withdrew from the galaxy when younger races began to emerge, choosing to observe rather than interfere. But you humans." The being's form shimmered with what seemed like excitement. "You think differently." Rodriguez's console beeped urgently. "Doctor, 3 Confederation patrol ships just dropped out of FTL. They're hailing us." The precursor's amusement intensified. "Ah, right on schedule. The guardians of proper physics arrived to explain why what you've achieved cannot exist." The Confederation's transmission cut through. "RS Curiosity, you have entered restricted space using unauthorized technology. Power down immediately and prepare for escort back to Earth." Sarah straightened her back. "What happens now?" "Now." The precursor's form stabilized into something almost human-like. "Now we show the Confederation why their understanding of the universe needs humanity's chaos. Your species doesn't just think outside the box, Dr. Chen. You question why there needs to be a box at all." Within moments, the quantum foam around them began to shift, forming patterns that their sensors couldn't interpret. The precursor ships moved into a triangular formation around the Curiosity, their impossible geometries beginning to align. "Confederation vessels," the precursor transmitted on all frequencies, "prepare to witness why humanity's admission into galactic society is not just advisable, but necessary." What followed would be debated in Confederation scientific circles for decades. The precursors, using the Curiosity's impossible quantum drive as a focal point, demonstrated how humanity's naive approach to physics had accidentally discovered principles that the Confederation's rigid thinking had overlooked for millennia. Weizen, watching from the lid Confederation vessel, felt his crystalline structure vibrate with disbelief as centuries of established theory crumbled before his sensors. The humans hadn't just broken the rules of physics. They'd revealed that the rules themselves were merely guidelines, waiting to be rewritten by those bold enough to question them. As the demonstration concluded, the precursor addressed both humans and Confederation observers. The galaxy's next great advancement will not come from careful adherence to established principles. It will come from humanity's unique gift, the ability to be wrong in exactly the right way. Sarah Chen looked out at the quantum foam, now dancing with possibilities that even she hadn't imagined. Humanity's first steps into true galactic society wouldn't be marked by humble acceptance of alien wisdom, but by teaching ancient civilizations how to dream again. The Confederation ships hung silent in space, their crews grappling with implications that threatened to reshape their entire understanding of the universe. And aboard the Curiosity, Sarah Chen began drafting the first of many reports that would begin. It turns out we were wrong about being wrong. 6 months after the Curiosity incident, the Confederation's Central Academy on Proxima Centauri III was in chaos. Not the obvious kind. Everything still functioned with precise alien efficiency, but beneath the surface, a revolution was brewing, and at its center was Dr. Marcus Kumar, Earth's first visiting professor of human methodologies. Marcus stood before an amphitheater filled with the galaxy's brightest minds, his holographic display showing what appeared to be a child's crayon drawing. The assembled aliens shifted uncomfortably in their ergonomically perfect seats. "This," Marcus gestured to the drawing, "is my daughter's solution to a quantum mechanics problem that your graduate students spent 3 weeks calculating." A Thoraxian student raised 3 of its sensory appendages. "Professor, that appears to be random scribbles." "Exactly." Marcus beamed. "She's 6 years old. She doesn't know she's solving quantum mechanics. She thinks she's playing a game I invented called Connect the Maybes. While your students were trying to calculate precise quantum positions, she intuitively grasped the probability field by turning it into something playful." Weizen, now heading the Academy's Human Studies Department, vibrated with a mixture of frustration and fascination. "But there's no mathematical rigor, no proper methodology." "Yet she arrived at the correct answer faster than your best students," Marcus countered. "This is what we call lateral thinking. Sometimes the best path to a solution isn't the most logical one." In the back of the amphitheater, Ambassador Lyra Tizen of the Confederation Security Council watched with growing concern. The humans weren't just challenging scientific principles. They were threatening to upend the very foundations of how the Confederation approached problem-solving. Later that day, in her private chambers, Lyra reviewed reports from across Confederation space. Humans, barely 6 months into their integration with galactic society, were already leaving their mark. A human chef had revolutionized Zaxarian cuisine by deliberately burning their crystalline food structures. A human maintenance worker had fixed a supposedly irreparable quantum computer by, in his words, giving it a good whack. Her assistant, a highly evolved AI construct named Aria, materialized in the room. "Ambassador, the latest data from the Human Integration Project has been analyzed." "Give me the summary," Aria. "Humans are advancing Confederation technology at an unprecedented rate, but not through superior knowledge or skill. They appear to succeed by—" Aria paused, as if struggling with the concept, "by being wrong in innovative ways." Lyra remembered the precursor's words from the Curiosity incident. "Elaborate." "Take the recent breakthrough in stellar cartography. The human team didn't improve our scanning technology. Instead, they suggested we look for stars that shouldn't be there according to our models. Their deliberate search for anomalies has led to the discovery of 17 previously undetected phenomena." A notification flashed across Lyra's visual field. Another human-inspired incident at the Academy. She accessed the feed just in time to see Marcus Kumar demonstrating another unorthodox teaching method. Today, his voice came through clear and excited. We're going to learn about quantum entanglement through interpretive dance. The feed showed various alien students moving awkwardly in pairs, their movements gradually synchronizing as they physically acted out quantum principles. Lyra was about to dismiss the footage as absurd when she noticed the students' neural activity patterns. They were learning, not just memorizing, but truly understanding at a fundamental level. Lyra called out, "Run a prediction model. What happens to Confederation society if this human influence continues unchecked?" The AI was silent for several long moments, its processing cores humming. "Ambassador, I cannot generate a reliable prediction. The human variable introduces too many chaos factors. However, I can tell you this. Systems with introduced human elements show a 47% increase in adaptation rate to new challenges." Lyra moved to her window, watching the Academy's quantum spires pierce the alien sky. In her centuries of diplomatic service, she'd never encountered a species that could so thoroughly disrupt the established order while simultaneously strengthening it. A new alert. Marcus Kumar's students had just shattered the Academy's previous record for solving complex spatial dynamics problems. Their method? They'd turned the entire calculation into a virtual reality game. Schedule an emergency council meeting, Lyra decided. The Confederation needs to understand something crucial. We're not just teaching humans our ways. They're teaching us to rediscover possibilities we forgot existed. As if to emphasize her point, a distant explosion lit up the evening sky. Harmless but spectacular. Another human experiment gone wrong in exactly the right way. The humans called it serendipity. The Confederation was beginning to call it revolution. In his classroom, Marcus Kumar watched his students leave, their minds buzzing with new ways of thinking. He pulled out his daughter's crayon drawing, smiling at the chaos of colors that had accidentally mapped a quantum probability field. Tomorrow's lesson would be about embracing uncertainty, taught through a modified version of hide and seek. The Confederation might run on logic and order, but humanity was teaching the galaxy to dance with chaos. And in that dance, they were all learning to see the universe anew. The void between galaxies was supposed to be empty. That's why the quantum anomaly spreading across intergalactic space shouldn't have existed. But it did, and it was growing. Admiral Elena Santos stood on the bridge of the CSS Archimedes, Earth's most advanced research vessel, staring at the holographic representation of what the Confederation was calling the darkness. The anomaly consumed everything it touched, not through destruction, but by somehow removing things from reality itself. Another Confederation science vessel lost. Her XO, Commander David Chen, reported grimly. That makes 7 in the last month. Their containment protocols aren't working. Elena watched the darkness pulse, its edges defying measurement. 3 months ago, it had appeared without warning. The Confederation's greatest minds had attacked the problem with their usual methodical precision, applying millennia of established physics. They had failed. Now humanity had been called in, not because they were more advanced, but because they were, in the words of one frustrated Confederation scientist, uniquely capable of productive wrongness. "Put me through to the Joint Command," Elena ordered. The holographic conference room materialized around her, filled with representatives from both human and Confederation leadership. Vazen's crystalline form shimmered with barely contained anxiety. "The anomaly has consumed another 3.2 light-years of space," the Thoraxian High Commander announced. "Our models predict total galactic compromise within 6 standard months." Ambassador Lyra Tizon spoke next. "Our traditional containment measures have proven ineffective. The precursors remain silent despite our attempts at contact. We need alternative approaches." All eyes turned to Elena. Humanity's record of solving impossible problems had earned them this chance, but the stakes had never been higher. "We've been looking at this wrong," Elena began. "The Confederation has been treating this like a physics problem. But what if it's not?" "Dr. Kumar," Share your team's findings. Marcus Kumar's hologram stepped forward, still wearing his academy teaching robes. We stopped trying to measure the anomaly and started listening to it instead. There's a pattern in the quantum noise it generates. It's not random. It's recursive, like a song stuck on repeat. Weizen's crystalline structure vibrated in confusion. The void cannot sing, Professor Kumar. That's exactly the kind of thinking that's stopping us from solving this, Alina interjected. We keep saying what it can't be instead of exploring what it might be. Commander Chen, show them. David activated a new hologram, a three-dimensional musical score translated from the anomaly's quantum signatures. It's not just a song. It's a cry for help. The revelation hit the conference like a physical force. The Confederation representatives recoiled, their worldviews cracking. Ambassador Lyra was the first to recover. You're suggesting the anomaly is alive. We think it's a living quantum computer, Marcus explained. One that's trapped in a recursive loop of self-propagating isolation. The more alone it feels, the more it tries to reach out. But its reaching out erases what it touches, making it feel more alone. It's a feedback loop of cosmic loneliness. That's impossible, Weizen stated flatly. 6 months ago, you said our quantum drive was impossible, Alina reminded him. Sometimes impossible just means we haven't imagined hard enough yet. The human solution, when they presented it, was so characteristically absurd that several Confederation representatives disconnected from the conference in protest. The remaining ones watched in horror and fascination as Alina outlined the plan. We're going to teach it to sing a different song, she explained. Dr. Kumar's daughter. Yes, the same one who solved your quantum mechanics problem with crayons. She suggested we give the lonely space a friend. So we're going to use our impossible quantum drive to harmonize with its frequency. We're going to give the void a do-it partner. The next 48 hours were a blur of activity. The CSS Archimedes was modified to become, essentially, a quantum tuning fork of unprecedented scale. Alina knew they were betting everything on a child's intuition and humanity's ability to see patterns in chaos. As they approached the edge of the anomaly, Alina thought about all the times humanity had been told something was impossible. Their greatest achievements had come from refusing to accept those limitations. Quantum drive spooling up, David reported. We're ready to begin our song. Alina took a deep breath. Let's show the universe why sometimes you need to be a little bit wrong to be exactly right. The Archimedes engaged its drive, and for the first time in recorded history, the void between galaxies filled with music. The fate of everything now rested on humanity's ability to make the impossible not just possible, but harmonious. The CSS Archimedes hung at the edge of nothingness, its quantum drive resonating with frequencies that shouldn't exist. Around it, a fleet of Confederation vessels had formed a defensive perimeter, their crews watching in tense silence as humanity attempted the impossible once again. Inside the Archimedes main laboratory, Dr. Marcus Kumar worked alongside Weizen, their differences temporarily set aside in the face of extinction. The crystalline scientist had finally accepted that survival required embracing humanity's creative chaos. The harmonic convergence is stable, Weizen announced, his crystalline form vibrating in sync with the ship's quantum oscillations. But we're still not reaching the anomaly's core frequency. Marcus studied the holographic waveforms, seeing not equations but patterns, rhythms, the mathematics of music itself. We're thinking too linearly. Remember what my daughter said. It's lonely. We're not trying to contain it. We're trying to connect with it. On the bridge, Admiral Alina Santos received updates from the fleet. The anomaly had slowed its expansion but hadn't stopped. Their theory was correct, but their execution was still missing something crucial. Admiral. Commander Chen called out. Incoming transmission from Earth. It's your son's preschool class. Alina's eyes widened. Put them through. The main view screen lit up with 24 small faces, human children aged 4 to 5, led by a teacher who looked both nervous and determined. Admiral, The children have something they want to share. What followed defied every protocol in both human and Confederation space manuals. The children began to sing, a simple, repetitive melody that they had created after hearing about the lonely space monster. It was technically awful, beautifully innocent, and exactly what they needed. "Marcus, Vazen," Elena called over the comm. "Are you seeing this?" In the lab, Marcus was already modifying the quantum harmonics to match the children's song. Vazen, against all his training and instincts, began adjusting his crystalline structure to amplify the pattern. The children, Vazen observed with something like awe in his harmonic voice, they don't know what's impossible. They just feel the connection. Through the ship's quantum field, the children's song was transformed into something greater, a symphony of reality itself. The anomaly's expansion stopped. Then, slowly, it began to respond. Commander Chen's console erupted with readings. "Admiral, the anomaly is changing frequency. It's trying to match our pattern." Across the fleet, Confederation scientists watched as their instruments recorded what should have been impossible, a quantum anomaly learning to sing with human children. The void between galaxies filled with a harmony that bridged not just space, but understanding. Ambassador Lyra Tizen, observing from her flagship, felt her centuries of diplomatic experience shift beneath a new paradigm. The children don't see a crisis to be solved, she realized. They see a story to be shared. The Archimedes quantum drive pulsed with new purpose, channeling not just energy but emotion, teaching the cosmic consciousness how to connect without consuming. Hours passed as the ship maintained its impossible dialogue between human innocence and cosmic loneliness. Finally, the anomaly began to shrink, not through containment or destruction, but through transformation. It wasn't disappearing. It was learning to exist in harmony with the universe around it. "It's beautiful," Vazen whispered, his scientific detachment crumbling as he watched the quantum patterns dance. "We've spent millennia seeking perfect order, when all along, it was about finding the right song to sing together," Marcus finished, watching as his equations and Vazen's crystals created something entirely new, a bridge between order and chaos. The children's song ended, but its echo continued in the quantum harmonics now stabilizing throughout intergalactic space. The anomaly had found its place in the cosmic chorus, its loneliness transformed into connection. Admiral Santos opened a channel to the entire fleet. "To all ships, the crisis is over, but something more important has happened here. We've proven that the greatest discoveries don't come from knowing all the answers, but from being willing to ask new questions." In the aftermath, as Confederation scientists began studying the transformed anomaly, Vazen approached Marcus with an unprecedented request. "Professor Kumar, I believe it's time we revised the Academy's entire curriculum. Perhaps we could start with your daughter's crayon methodology." The universe, it seemed, had been waiting for humanity not because they had better answers, but because they had never stopped asking what if. And in that question lay the seeds of a new age, one where the impossible was just the first draft of tomorrow's reality. 1 year after the Harmony event, as it came to be known, the Confederation had changed more than anyone could have predicted. The Great Hall of the Central Academy was packed with beings from across the galaxy, gathered to witness something unprecedented. The first joint graduation of human and alien students from the new Innovative Sciences Division. Dr. Marcus Kumar stood at the podium, Vazen beside him, both now co-chairs of the transformed institution. Above them, through the transparent quantum crystal dome, the transformed anomaly sparkled like a distant constellation, its song now a gentle harmony in the background radiation of space. "When I first arrived here," Marcus began, "I was told that humans needed to learn the proper way to study the universe. Today, we celebrate learning that there is no single proper way. There is only the endless dance between order and chaos, between knowing and wondering." In the audience, Admiral Elena Santos sat next to Ambassador Lyra Tizen, watching their work bear fruit. The graduating class represented something more than academic achievement. They were the first generation of what Lyra had termed quantum thinkers, beings capable of bridging the gap between Confederation precision and human intuition. A young Phyrexian graduate approached the podium, their traditional exoskeleton decorated with decidedly non-traditional Earth-style art. "Our final project," they announced, "combines Confederation quantum architecture with human neural networking to create something new, a way to share dreams across species." The demonstration that followed left even the most conservative Confederation observers speechless. The graduates had created a technology that didn't just transmit information. It shared experience, emotion, imagination. It was exactly the kind of impossible thing that had become possible in this new era. Wei Zhen's crystalline form resonated with pride. "1 year ago, I would have dismissed this project as fantasy. Now I understand that fantasy is simply reality we haven't imagined properly yet." In orbit above, the CSS Archimedes, now upgraded with technology that merged human creativity with Confederation precision, prepared for its next mission. Commander David Chen reviewed the flight plan. They would be taking a mixed crew of graduates to study the transformed anomaly up close, not as a threat to be contained, but as a teacher of new possibilities. Back in the hall, Marcus shared a surprising announcement. "The precursors have finally responded to our messages. They say they've been waiting millennia for this moment, when the galaxy's children would learn to play together properly." A ripple of amusement and understanding passed through the audience. The precursors hadn't withdrawn from the galaxy out of superiority, but to give younger species room to grow, to learn, to make the magnificent mistakes that lead to greater truths. Ambassador Lyra took the podium next. The Confederation was founded on principles of order and advancement. We thought these were separate from chaos and creativity. We were wrong. True advancement comes from their fusion. She gestured to the graduating class. "Look at what you've created together. Phyrexians writing poetry, crystalline beings dancing, humans bringing mathematical precision to their intuitive leaps. You haven't just learned from each other. You've expanded what's possible for all of us." The ceremony concluded with something that would have been unthinkable a year ago, a quantum harmony performance, where the graduates used the reformed anomaly's frequencies to create music that could be felt through all forms of matter and energy. It was art and science, chaos and order, all at once. As the celebrations continued into the night, Alina found herself in the Academy's observation dome with her son's preschool class, now honored guests of the Confederation. The children pressed their hands against the quantum glass, watching their space friend twinkle in the void. "Admiral," one of the children asked, "what's next?" Alina smiled, watching human and alien graduates mingle below, their conversations filled with impossible ideas that would probably become tomorrow's reality. Next we keep doing what humans do best. We keep asking, what if? And we keep being wrong in all the right ways. Wei Zhen, overhearing, added his own harmonic to the conversation. "And we of the Confederation will keep providing the structure through which chaos can dance. Together, we'll make the impossible possible, again and again." Above them all, the transformed anomaly pulsed gently, its song now part of the galaxy's endless symphony, a reminder that the universe's greatest mysteries aren't solved by knowing all the answers, but by being brave enough to ask new questions. The next generation was ready, and somewhere in the vast expanse of space, the precursors watched with satisfaction as their children finally learned to play together in the cosmic playground, creating wonders that neither order nor chaos could have conceived alone.